Okay, hey, I'm back. And so today I'm doing another live stream with Daniel here. So hopefully we'll have a good time. And if you saw my post over the last week or so, I've been talking about the most influential guitarist, and I've been putting up a poll to see, who are the most influential guitarists. And I wanted to do this not based on like skill or popularity or something like that. So like it's not just like, oh, who can play the fastest or like who has the most hit songs or something like that. I want to know like who influenced and who changed the way people played guitar the most, especially in rock. I tried to limit it to that, and I was like, I don't want to put any fusion guitarist on here. I do have some metal guitars, but I kind of wanted to limit that so it's not just all like metal guitarists or things like that. I wanted to do like rock guitarists. So we're gonna go through them. So before I do that, like I should say, Daniel, what guitarist has like influenced you the most? I think I probably know the answer, but
There's only one answer. Yngwie Malmsteen. He doesn't eat fucking donuts. Everyone else's answer is wrong. Uh, uh, Obviously, mine are pretty obvious.
yeah,
What hat do I have on? Nope, wrong hat.
you have the best I had on.
Yeah, my favorite guitar player had to be John Petrucci. So
Mm,
obviously from Rush and Dream Theater, who's obviously vastly very influential to today. As
yeah,
you can see by like, I think his signature line is the most popular and best selling signature line for the past 8 years.
really, I
So
didn't know that.
yeah, he. Oh, how many Vise and Satch models do you see anymore?
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, you just see Petrucci's, and there's such a versatile guitar. You see so many different versions, either Majesties
Mm,
or the ones with the Floyd and stuff. That's a big one for me. The other big ones for me are Metallica, Hetfield, and Hammett. They got my
mm,
chops up playing. Hendrix was a big one. Steve Ray Vaughan, um, Brian May of Queen,
mm,
David Gilmour of Pink Floyd. Trying to think of the big huge ones. Randy Rhoads, there's a big one. Can't forget that guy.
mm.
Obviously Evan Halen, like Zach Wild. A lot. What shocker might be some people you wouldn't think of. Like I like BB King a lot.
Mm.
I can't play a lot of his stuff exactly like him, but I got more of the Steve Ray Vaughan kind of vibe. But I
Yeah,
like BB King quite a bit. Clapton's cool. I'm kind of like a melting pot, but those the Petrucci's obviously the big one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So like I actually lots of those people are on this list. I didn't put guys like Stevie Ray Vaughan or BB King because I figured like they're blues guitarists that I didn't put them on there. But as I was doing this and thinking about influential guitarists, I thought about BB King. It's like for as popular as BB King is, as much as people mention him, he really hasn't been that influential, I think. Because like when have you heard like a BB King clone?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I
I
can't
mean,
think of any BB King clone. Like he like play like when you think of him, like he has a very unique style. But I think like who plays like him or who does the things like even his vibrato. It's like who uses that vibrato besides him? Not
nope, nobody.
really. Yeah,
I guess
it's like even like his licks and things. It's like people don't really play like that. Even though like everyone's like, I really like BB King. So I was like, that's interesting.
I wonder if you could say the same thing about like Chuck Berry, because no one sounds like him. We got these double stop licks, but not the full sound. You're right. If you go by
Yeah,
close,
yeah.
then yeah, there's not a whole lot of them around. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was thinking about that when I was doing this because I was like, okay, I take away like technique and I take away popularity, and I was like, just like who really changed the way people play, not just like, oh, I like this person, but who like made people think like I'm gonna play in this way. And I thought like about BB King, even though he's not on here because he's blues, but I was like, really didn't change it. Whereas like Stevie Ray Vaughan, like even though lots of people like them, I was like in popularity wise, I'd probably say like Stevie Ray Vaughan and BB King are maybe equal, but in influence wise, Stevie Ray Vaughan is much higher. I've heard like
Yeah.
tons of people they're like copying Stevie Ray Vaughan, using Ray Vaughan style guitars, using tube screamers and things like that. But like who uses I haven't seen anyone actually use a BB King guitar or play that Gibson Lab Series amp.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't even think. Yeah, you're right. I know.
Mm.
Well, only guitar player I can think of that this might not be well known to people, but Eric Johnson recorded Cliffs of Dover on an
Mm-hmm.
ES-335. The
Ah, yeah,
majority of
yeah.
it is on basically a red Lucille, but the main solo in the middle is his Strat. The rest of it is
Mm.
the ES-335, which he had to keep hidden because
Ah.
Fender was like, "Hey, shh, little smoke and mirror magic there."
Yeah.
You're right. I think yeah, Steve Ray Vaughan is obviously way more influential. Yeah, in that area.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
So
when I heard him, I thought like my friend's dad was like, it's like Hendrix, but taken to the next level. And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
what do you mean by that? I listened to him play Little Wing. I thought, wow, that's a real good like remaster of Hendrix. Like that's not a remaster. That's him.
yeah,
I was like, oh my god. Yeah.
yeah. He's really awesome. So yeah, the only reason I didn't put him on the list is because I figured like he's a blues guitarist. And, like I'd like to do something like this again, but maybe I'll do it with like blues guitarist or like fusion guitarist or metal guitarist. So there's people
Yeah.
I left out. But let me see if I can show you the list. I believe I can do some screen sharing here, so it'll take it off of me and hopefully it will show the list. So here, share. Okay, can you see the list?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so here's what we have. And this is from the polls people gave. So they said C tier, Duane Allman and Slash. B tier, yeah. B tier is Jimmy Page. A tier is Steve Vai and Randy Rhoads. Great tier is Carlos Santana, Eric Clapton, which the picture's getting cut off, but trust me, it's Eric Clapton. Great tier is Ritchie Blackmore. Also great tier is Joe Satriani, Dick Dale, Yngwie Malmsteen, and Angus Young. And then God tier, we have Chuck Berry, Tony Iommi, Jeff Beck, Brian May, John Petrucci, Jimi Hendrix, Eddie Van Halen, and David Gilmour.
That's some very interesting choices.
Yeah, so I will say this. So part of it is possibly my own, I don't know, I should like the way I constructed the poll. So what I did was basically I said, hello, sorry, my son's back. But anyways, I constructed and I said if they're tied, so like it's 50% A, 50% C, I just gave them the higher ranking just to be nice. And some of them I put up yesterday, so they don't have as many votes as some of the other ones. So that's why some of them might be, out of whack. But I thought we'll go through here and we'll decide where these people should be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will also I'll agree that Slash should probably be in the C department with Duane Allman.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Duane Allman. He's a great player, but it's more of a Southern rock feel thing. Slash, he's good. He's very influential, but compared to the rest of these guys, no, he's down there. That's fine with that.
I kind of agree because I was thinking like Duane Allman is probably the greatest slide player ever. I like Duane Allman, but I think like who plays like Duane Allman besides like Derek Trucks, and how many people are playing that type of music in the first place?
Yeah. In terms of Randy Rhoads, no, I'd bump him up to God level instantly. He's the only guitar player to legitimately terrify Eddie Van Halen. Like that wouldn't even be a question. He even said in interviews, like Eddie Van Halen was like, yeah, I was absolutely scared to death of that guy's playing ability. So now for me, he'd be God level. I'd rearrange some things like Carlos Santana. Nah, I'd drop him down to B. Sorry.
I was thinking the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
How do you want to do this? Do you want to do this like in order? You want to start from C and go up?
Yeah, we can do that. Is that Dick Dale between Yngwie and Satch?
Yeah, that's Dick Dale.
Oh man, no, he's down on the BC level.
Yeah, I gotta move him down too.
Knock him down. Yeah, we'll start
with C. So you agree, Duane Allman C. I agree, Duane Allman C. People don't get angry in the comments. I like Duane Allman. There's nothing wrong with playing, but just upon the basis of influential, I don't think people are like, oh, I need like Duane Allman's guitar or like what like amp did he use? I don't, or like even like slide guitar playing. I don't see it, so that's why he's gonna stay there. Same thing with Slash. He had some good riffs, but I don't see people like hopping Slash all the time. So
we're gonna get some hate.
Probably so. Yeah, probably so.
Definitely, there's gonna be some people.
I don't see people like hopping Slash. Yeah,
we'll definitely be getting some negative feedback.
Yeah, we'll see. I told you, yeah, argue in the comments. So
yeah, turn my comments off. I don't care. Okay,
next one is Jimmy Page. Do you think Jimmy Page should stay there? Do you think move down, move up? Where?
If we're talking about influential, you got to put him at least at A. I mean, Led Zeppelin birthed hard rock, like so. And I know there's there's so many players that took his stuff and tried to make their own thing out of it. I mean, I'm still teaching Zeppelin songs today, so I haven't taught.
True, yeah.
I haven't taught a single Dick Dale song.
That's true. Okay, yeah, I guess you can put it that way. So I was thinking, like, overall influence as far as like guitar goes, I can't think of like anything where it's like, okay, this is the way he played, and like after this, everybody played that. Like the way he played was kind of the way other people were playing that blues rock style. But at the same time, you're right. Like people are playing Led Zeppelin, and I guess with like the double like 12-string guitar and single guitar, or playing guitar with a violin bow. I've seen other people do that, and that came from him. So I guess so.
Yeah,
Let's move him up to A.
Yeah, his catalog of music too, you know, like Stairway Alone, and then, you know, he's got, I mean, it's insane levels.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I should add though, some of that stuff was stealing. He did steal some of the songs.
Oh, you know, he stole it. Yeah, of course. Inspired. Gotta say inspired, or else we're gonna get sued.
That's true. Yeah, well, he already got sued, so.
Yeah, I know, and he inspired that guy to leave court. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's inspired by some of those other
yeah,
people.
okay, so I guess I would say, who else? We have Clapton. Okay, Dick Dale. You know, honestly, I'd probably push him down to B with Santana. That's where I put him personally.
Yeah, okay. You want to do that? You want to do them first before we get to A level?
Well, because we're still on B, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Let's go up to A, I guess. Yeah, we'll go up to A first.
Okay, so A, I have Steve Vai, Randy Rhoads, and we already did Jimi Hendrix. So Steve Vai. I want to move him up to great, and like my reasoning behind it is this: like, there's some things like, you know, he kind of did some things the way other people did. He has his own unique style, but some people say like, he's not that influential. But where I disagree is, you think of 7-string guitars. Who played 7-string guitars in rock before Steve Vai? And after him, there's like John Petrucci started using 7-string guitars. After him, like Korn with nu metal started using 7-string guitars. Like heavy metal, like Meshuggah started using 7-string guitars. So I was like, I think he should go up.
Yeah, I would definitely say he's got to be at least great. Plus, in terms of performance-wise, you can't touch him stage performance. Like and you know, listen, let's be honest, he's the only person to defeat Ralph Macchio in a guitar duel. The rest of these guys on this list can't even come close to that. Okay, I mean,
we should petition YouTube to do a updated Crossroads movie, just like they did with the Karate Kid.
Karate Kid's working out. Why not? I'd love to see Jack. What's his name? Jack Butler come back.
Yeah, come back.
All right, so I guess Randy, for me, he's got to be God level. I mean, for me, because he invented neoclassical pretty much. He was like one. I mean, they'll say Ritchie Blackmore did with a little bit of like Randy was unparalleled at the time. He took 2 albums, not only revitalized Ozzy's career. He defined so many players that everybody I know who plays Randy Rhoads gets better at guitar, and they think, oh yeah, Crazy Train, I played that. Yeah, we'll try and do Mr. Crawley or Revelation Mother Earth. I mean, he's a beast. And he didn't really get to show a lot of what he could do because he unfortunately died too soon. But no, for me, he's God level. Like that's because everybody plays his licks. We all do his 3-note per string runs, his legato techniques, his bending, the triple tracking for the guitar leads. I mean, and his guitars are iconic because that pointy half flying V, the poke. I mean, we know it. He has a massive influence. I honestly think that if he would have lived through the 80s, him and Eddie would have been huge rivals. Like just. Who's better, Randy, Eddie? So for me, I'd say God level because he's way above some of the other guys, in my personal opinion of influence.
Yeah, I want to put him at great level because I agree with what you said, and like he has the signature with the guitar, which I think probably still sells, and he did with like the neoclassical stuff more than Eddie Van Halen. There's people before him like Uli John Roth, but most people don't know who he is, so he's not gonna get credit for it.
Uli can't shred like Randy.
Yeah, so he's the one that put like the tapping together. Like Van Halen did it first, but it was more like a rock thing, and it was kind of like nice. But he actually put it together in more like a classical style. So I want to move him up to great. You think great?
Yeah, great's fine. I can agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, great. So
for me, God level, I'm fine with great because we got to put somebody somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So next we're coming to great, and we have Carlos Santana. Where do you want to move? Like, I think he should go down first of all.
Immediately drop him to B or C. I know he's influential, but no, for me, nothing. He's we got like Black Magic Woman, okay. Oyo Como Va. I'm like, sorry, man. Or Smooth with Rob Thomas. No, he's not my cup of tea. I don't dislike the guy. I respect him, but it B. Like he's obviously more influential than Duane Allman. Probably not as. I don't know if he's more or less wide known than Slash. It might be the same level. But the
Yeah, I
PRS.
think maybe now he might be more widely known because like before, Slash came out, obviously he was already popular, but then like after Guns N' Roses broke up, Slash's popularity kind of like gradually went down. But he had a bump around like the early 2000s, so he might be more popular. But
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of agree. Like I'm gonna say B level, slightly higher than C, just because there's some things like his tone is kind of like legendary, and like the whole like Latin rock thing. When you think Latin rock and guitar, it's Santana. So I have heard a few Santana copies.
Yeah, I have to say, yeah, that is true. His PRS Mark I combo is pretty iconic.
Yes.
So much that the Mark V I have has is a Mark I setting when I call Santana mode. It just
Yeah.
Santana. So.
Yeah. So I think B is a good place for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so next, I think for me this is a hard one. So next, even though you can't see it too well here, it's Eric Clapton.
Yeah, this is a hard one because his reach is very, very wide and he's very influential. Yeah. It's hard to play like him though, exactly. But I can't like. I have older students that ask to hear play Tears in Heaven. I have younger students that want to hear Layla, but it's different people. They want to hear the acoustic version, and sometimes they want to hear the Derek and the Dominoes version. He was also, I don't know, he's extremely influential.
Because I'm thinking about it, like he was like one of the first people to use that Marshall overdriven sound. Also, I think maybe the first person to do that. I think it was him that they named that Blues Breaker amp. That Marshall Blues Breaker amp was named after him.
Yeah, I wouldn't move up to, I don't know. Like for me, he's not God level, but
it's like hard for me to put him up there because like sometimes I think like, okay, like he does have some copies, like people that copy him, and he changed some things like with the distortion and the Marshall. Like that's an iconic sound that everybody used after that. But there's other people I think that did more.
Yeah, he might be good where he's at, but I'd say at least an A. I mean, he's up there with Page, obviously, but I mean, he's also really good. Like, in terms of songwriting wise, and he can sing and he can play. That's a triple threat right there.
Yeah, maybe we should leave him there at great. I like him at great.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Okay, next we have here, it's hard to see here, we have Ritchie Blackmore.
I gotta knock him down to B just because of his attitude.
It was based on his attitude. I'm putting him at like C or D level.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Take him off the list. He lost his.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have to have him on here, but I think we have to have him below Yngwie because that's probably gonna be very controversial. But Yngwie did it better.
I have to agree. I'm gonna put him at. I think I agree with you at B because I think he's more influential than Slash or Duane Allman, but he's around like the same level as Carlos Santana. I think probably his attitude probably hurt him because he left, Deep Purple, and he did the stuff with Rainbow. Well, Rainbow, as far as I know, wasn't as popular as Deep Purple. And then didn't he leave Rainbow too and do? I don't know what was going on, but
he's doing Blackmore's Night, which he was. I don't even know what he's doing now, except for bashing Joe Satriani, which is funny. He got them next to each other there.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, he is. So, I want to move him down to B because, like, even though like you say like, oh, he kind of came neoclassical stuff. When I actually listen to like his solos and songs, like there's a bit of it in there, but there's not like a ton.
No, it's not like Yngwie level of it.
Nowhere near that.
No.
So he seems, more influential on people wearing like leather pants and having their shirt open while they're playing. So
yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, so like he has some good riffs. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm not saying he didn't make great music, but I just think like overall influence, I don't hear like a bunch of Ritchie Blackmore clones and things like that. So that's why I say B. I might get some hate for that. I imagine I will.
Yeah, I probably will too, but I don't care. That's fine.
Yeah.
Then we got Sack up next, right?
Yeah.
Minimum great level, but then again, he probably could go up to God level because if you really think about his influence, he's the only guitar player to ever have a top 10 instrumental album. And
really?
Yeah, and let's be honest. He taught Vi. He taught Kirk Hammett of Metallica. He still teaches people. I mean, like, they're still being. I have students that love his stuff, and like I just talked to John Petrucci a couple of weeks ago, and he even told me he's going to try and do change up his practice routine a little bit to do more of what Satriani does. So yeah, I don't know. It's a great minimum. But
I think leave him at great. Leave him at great.
Yeah, definitely. His tone, his phrasing, his melodies. He's extremely extremely influential. Just because he's good at what he is. I mean, it's him. It's himself.
Yeah, like at first I was gonna move him down, but then when you said like he's only guitarist had instrumental album in top 10, leave him. He needs to be a great. So like that's
Yeah.
good. And doing all like the teaching the other students. So yeah, leave him there. And he was like one of the first people. Like even though there's people that had like popular instrumental albums before him, it's like he had the most popular because it was in the top 10, and also it wasn't like neoclassical. Like when he came out, it was just like a straight rock album with just instrumental, and it's still listenable today. I listen to some of those Surfing with Alien songs now.
Yeah, it still works. Just people are still playing them, so that's the test of time.
Yeah, so maybe leave him there.
Yeah.
So what about Dick Dale? Where do you want to move him?
I like Dick Dale because he stood up for us. He was the king of surf rock, just like a rebel kind of thing. In terms of influence wise, he's not as well known as he should be, sadly.
I don't
influence.
Sad thing. I think about it, like all the tremolo picking and like the cool things. I was like, oh, that sounds great, but it like nobody plays like that besides him, really.
Yeah, I honestly, I'd probably say, as much as it kills me, you'd have to knock him down to B level.
I was thinking the exact same thing. It's like he needs to be above C, but I was like, it B, because like if you're just talking about like surf rock, I was like, okay, among guitarists that play surf rock, there are guitarists that play like him, but like, how many surf rock bands are there now?
Yeah, definitely B then, because based on that stuff. I mean, I wish he was more influential than he was, but he's not. It's just besides that, Ms. Rayleigh from Pulp Fiction, but most of my students who learn that don't even know who he is. They just go, "That's that song from that movie with that guy." And I'm like, "Great, good job." I'm not talking about like 10-year-olds, by the way. I'm talking like 26-year-olds that are more than old enough to know basic pop culture, but whatever.
Yeah.
They're gonna see this now that the few 26-year-olds are like, "You talking about me on the internet?" I am.
Yeah. Well, maybe they can get, people can watch this and they can learn something. So I should say, like, if you don't know who some of these guitarists are, please look them up. Like, listen to the music. It's on YouTube. You can find all these people and you find what they do. All of it's good. Like, I put about like 20 guitarists, I think it is, and I tried to choose guitarists that didn't suck. I didn't want to put a bunch of people that are just like terrible and nobody should listen to on here.
Yeah. That's true. Anyway.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm not trying to do that to like, because I was thinking like, oh, okay, who's the influential guitarist? I could put like, oh, a guitarist from like Blink 82 or something like that. But I was like, I'm not doing that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was like, I'm not doing that. So here, all these people, if they're on this list, check them out.
Yeah.
Anyways, next, Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah, he has to stay, for me, minimum great, and maybe go up to God level. I mean, he could be up to God level because once he hit the scene, everything changed. Every single player started learning how to sweep pick, how to, do different, more complicated or orchestral progressions. The neoclassical to this day still permeates through every facet of rock and metal. I mean, look at Avenged Sevenfold. They're literally disciples of Yngwie. His vibrato different. That he made scalp, neck. It's not like everyone uses them, but it's more of a normal thing. He made even though he brought back the whole Strat. People say like he's Hendrix and Ritchie Blackmore combined, but his Far Beyond the Sun, that album, the Rising Force, that alone changed so many. Think of all the players we knew at Berkeley that would go crazy over Yngwie stuff. Even like Joe Stump obviously is a huge influence from Yngwie, but like we use his techniques left and right, and he like terrified everybody. Like you can see Kirk Hammett solos before Yngwie, and then you can see him trying to do a half sweep right after Yngwie's album came out. Everybody was okay. Like put it this way, Steve Vai had to fill in for Yngwie's spot in Alcatraz when Yngwie left.
Yeah,
I mean Yngwie's extremely influential. Love or hate the guy, what you think of him, he changed the scene like big time.
Yes, like I want to leave him where he is at great, because at first I was thinking about like dropping him down to A, but like now that I really think about it, you are right. After he came out, everything changed. Like before that, there wasn't really shred rock. There were people who could play fast, like Al Di Meola or something like that, but it wasn't like the whole shred rock, shred metal thing. It came directly from him. After he came out, there's just like a legion of people copying him, and I've heard quite a few Yngwie copies.
Yeah, Quite, yeah, because he's. I mean, he. Once you start learning his style and his phrasing, it's like you have to work at it so much. It's like it's going to be in your wheelhouse of licks for the rest of your life. You can't just turn it off. I mean, you can
Yeah.
try not to play it, but it's. Why would you not want to sound good? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, he's fine with great. Yeah, I mean, God level maybe, but I'd say yeah for certain players, yes, definitely he'd be God level, but great's fine.
Yeah. I kind of want to distribute them. I don't want to put everybody at great or God. I mean, like,
I get yeah. We'll knock some of them down up there. No,
yeah, yeah, exactly. Some of those people probably do need to come down.
not give a
Next,
controversial choice.
yeah.
Like, what?
Next,
How,
we have Angus Young from AC/DC.
while I love him and I love, I would have put firstly for me, I put Angus and Malcolm because they're a combo for that sound. But I get what you're getting at. Angus, he is great, but I would probably take him down to the same level as Jimmy Page. He has influenced everyone though. The 3-chord rock, it's like I can't tell you how many AC/DC songs they teach a week because I can't remember them all. It's all the same 3.
Yeah.
But they stood the test of time. They're still touring, I think.
Yeah. So I think that's good. Only thing I was thinking about maybe B level because I think like what did he do that really changed what people did afterwards? Like he had good riffs, it sounds good, but like that like Gibson into a Marshall, it's like he didn't invent that. Like that came before. He didn't really, as far as I know, he didn't use like any new effects or like any new techniques or anything.
Well, if we're looking who's down there, we got like Smoke on the Water, Dick Dale, and then who's the first guy? Oh, Santana, right?
Santana, yeah.
Yeah, I can maybe name 1 or 2 songs from those guys, and I can then also name like 55 from AC/DC. Like I know when I buy an AC/DC album, it's going to be consistent rock and roll, going through like a Marshall cranked, that 4/4 drum beat, and they did have a singer die. They were one of the first bands to have a singer die and come back with a new singer. I think they have like what the number 3 best-selling album of all time, Back in Black.
Probably so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's. I don't know. I would say at least A. I wouldn't. For me, I wouldn't put him at B because he's way more influential than those guys. Like he's on the same level as Jimmy Page easily. Because I mean, for me, that's what I'm saying. I mean, plus what I've seen from people around here and stuff. I don't know. It's A or B easily, but he's also great too. So that's a hard one.
Okay, I'll compromise. Let's go with A. Let's go
All
with
right.
A. And we already did Vi. We already did Randy Rhoads. So now we're getting up to the big stuff. We're getting up to God level.
Yeah.
So this one is a really hard one for me. The first one is Chuck Berry. So
yeah.
on the one hand, like he has like the like those double stop licks, which when people play them, I was like, that's a Chuck Berry lick, and you can easily recognize it, and people do play them, but I don't know how much like people play them. I wouldn't say they're like a rock staple now. Like after the 1950s, they weren't played that much. On the other hand, lots of people credit him with inventing rock and roll.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, I'd say he was one of the co-inventors of rock and roll. I think Little Richard predated him.
Also said like Little Richard, so I was like,
yeah.
So I was like, I don't know, but like, there's some things I was like, it's
in terms of guitar though, he's the first. He's like the god, and plus his influence is extremely well known. I mean, he influenced the Beatles and like Keith Richards and like that. He was the Eddie Van Halen of his day, basically.
Yeah. So like the only thing that I was thinking about putting him down, but I think I believe him just because of performance. He was probably the first, he's the first rock guitarist, period. And before that, only person I think that like had performance with guitar was probably T-Bone Walker.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, but he blew T-Bone out of the way. Nothing wrong with T-Bone.
Yeah. But he had that, and he was like dancing with the guitar and like playing, like dancing with the solos and things like that. And so I was like, and you think like how many other players had done that afterwards? You can say like, oh, people did it better than him or whatever, but he's the one that started it. He was the first person to do that. So I was like, I want to leave him to God.
I honestly, probably should. He's the first, so he should stay up there because before him, nothing existed. So leave him. It says Robert Johnson, but yeah, definitely he's a blues guy. Leave him up there.
Yeah. Next we have Tony Iommi, Black Sabbath fame.
This is going to be another controversial one. I can already tell.
I kind of want to move him down.
I would, I think we have to, but at the same time, he invented heavy metal. I would say he has to be at least on the same level as Page, because I mean that was hard rock heavy metal. Same
Yeah,
time, there's a lot more metal bands than there are hard rock bands. So
that's true.
he's great. Okay, put it this way: I'd rather teach Iron Man and Paranoid than Smoke on the Water any day of the damn week.
Yeah.
I'd say minimum great, but and plus he's missing his fingertips. So for him to come up with his riffs, and he did kind of invent down tuning. He was the first one to go down to C sharp because he had to, because he couldn't play in standard tuning.
Was he really?
Yeah, you didn't know that? His fingertips are chopped off, so he has to put these like little thimble things on his fingers.
Yeah.
And he couldn't hold standard tuning, so he got like 12 gauge strings, and he would drop down to C sharp, and then he'd play the chords higher on the fretboard, which created the Black Sabbath sound.
I didn't know he was the first person to down tune. So
yeah, he had to. He invented all that. That's him. So
he's one of the first people I've heard to do like the chugging with power chords. There might have been somebody that did it beforehand, but he's the first person I remember actually like doing chugs with power chords. So with that and the down tuning, I'll give him great. I wanted to put him at A, but
I was gonna say minimum A, but great. Yeah, minimum A, but great. Yeah, he can be a great.
Yeah, let's move him to great, because I was thinking like I didn't know about the down tuning thing, but with down tuning, yeah, move him to great. Okay, so next we have Jeff Beck.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I like Jeff Beck, but I'm trying to think like the influence.
I hate that guy. Drop him to C, kick him off the list. He's
get some hate.
I know right now they're gonna right now I know somebody's looking. I want to kill that mother. He's firing me, doxing me. That's why I got my VPN on. You can't dox this.
Yeah.
He's really influential. He's not my cup of tea at all. I know he's a really good player, but in terms of people who've ever asked me to teach him, besides older generations, like the guys I went to school with at Berkeley who were professors, like that, nobody. I haven't heard anybody ever ask for a Jeff Beck song, ever. So for me, from my personal experience in life, and I've seen people go through, I'd have to put him at like B. Even though I know he's way more influential than that, nobody's ever asked me to learn his stuff. And besides the fact that he was the guy that every time he got in a band, he was like Page was in the Yardbirds, then he left, and Clapton was in the Yardbirds, then he left, then Beck got in the Yardbirds and they fired and they stopped the whole thing. So he's the guy who shuts down the band. I know a lot of people. He's a really good, influential guitar player, but oh god, I'd have to say B for me, honestly, B or A. But like just
I don't know, like A or B, because like it's the same thing. Because I'm a fan of Jeff Beck. I like Jeff Beck, but the problem is I think like, what did he do that really nobody else did before him and like really changed things? The only thing I can think is he does this stuff with like the whammy bar, where he's kind of like playing the melodies with the whammy bar, which is interesting. But I don't know. Besides Steve Vai, I haven't heard anyone else really do that.
Yeah, I'm the same thing with the whammy. That's all I can think of as his main source of playing.
Yeah, and like the other stuff is like, okay, like he's unique because he plays with his fingers instead of a pick. But I was like, nobody else does that but him.
Yeah, I'd drop him to B. That's honestly what that's gonna make some people mad, but I'm like, sorry guys. I know he's
I want to put him at A, but I don't really have a good argument for it, because I can't even think of like he used like some special effect or something, or he did something. He had that Wired album, which was like a popular instrumental album, but that's not even like the first guitar instrumental album. So
yeah, I don't know. That's your call, man. You can take the heat for that one. I'll say B.
I'll put him at B. I can't come up with a reason to put him at A. If you're down in the comments, help me out. Why should Jeff Beck be higher? Like, what influences he had, or what has he done really? I guess he just Rod Stewart. I guess.
We actually have a guy in the chat, Buster, saying stuff with Rod Stewart in the early days. Pork Pie Hat, not a JB song, but popular at Berkeley. Talking about Berkeley. Yeah. I mean,
Goodbye Pork Pie Hat, like it's a Charles Mingus song, so it's like a jazz song. But I like his version. His version, I think, is the best version. But I don't know if that puts you up higher. I mean,
I have to say. I mean, I say for older generations he'd be up there, but no, not compared to what's come since him. I mean, no, I'm happy with B. I'm not knocking the guy. He he can really play, obviously, and there's a huge market for him, but that's not. I think he has to stay. That's a good spot for him. That's not meaning he's bad at all.
Yeah. Please remember, before the hate comes, remember this is the most influential guitarist, not the best guitarist.
Yeah. Before they come at us, like, I'm gonna kill you. These things are always dangerous to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but hopefully it'll be interesting for people.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we'll get lots of arguing out of it. Next, let's go to Brian May.
Okay, so he's one of my personal favorites. We were talking earlier about clones. Are there Brian May clones? Not really.
I haven't heard that. That's the reason I don't want to put him at God, because I think he's high, but I wouldn't put him at God just for that reason, because I haven't seen any Brian May clones. And like even the stuff he did, like he did lots of unique stuff, like he built his own guitars and things, but like who else does that?
I don't think you really Eddie Van Halen.
That's true. That's true.
And the
coin.
The coin thing, the sixpence. Yeah, I mean,
he's unique, but like, who does that?
He's obviously very influential in terms of his chords, riffs, and playing in songs. But
yeah, that's what's good. Well, I think like what he did, like what keeps him from being like higher than some other people, is I think what he did with the like layering the guitar tracks, especially for leads, has been very influential. I think he was like probably a few years before Randy Rhoads as far as doing that.
He was engineering wise. He with his engineer, the fifth member of Queen, that guy, they did stuff you wouldn't believe. Like one of his big secrets to that's not secret anymore. He calls it the Deacon. He has a super small like a speaker, maybe about this big, probably 6-inch speaker, maybe it's 8, but I'm pretty sure it's 6-inch, that is powered by a lantern battery that he used to plug into. It was like some old crappy like RCA 1970s Sears speaker, and then that would record his lead sounds out of that. He would like run it through that, and they'd put a mic in front and record that. So Vox, for 1 year, I think, or maybe 2, they might still sell it, but they had a limited. They recreated it in a little Vox version called the Vox Deacon.
That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of innovation, yeah, he's off the charts. Building his own guitar, the songs, the melodies, the singing with Freddie. I mean, he's part of Bohemian Rhapsody. He's unparalleled. His leads are incredible. We know his songs left and right.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're saying influence. I don't know. He did influence a lot of people, but I'd hate to say this. I like him at God level personally. I'd probably say to put him to A.
I was saying same thing, like A, because like I like him. I like what he did, and like he did influence a lot of people. I think he doesn't get enough credit for like neoclassical stuff. If you listen to lots of his leads, they do have like this classical influence.
There is quite a bit.
Yeah, but like I said, there's not like I can't think of any Brian May clones like at all. So I agree. Let's drop him down to A. Next, John Petrucci, your favorite.
Yeah, he's got to stay God level. There's no chance. He's of all the players, like they always say, who's the next guitar god? It's like he's always been here. He's one of the few players. I mean, after knowing him personally now and seeing things that other people haven't seen, like, yeah, we know he's in Dream Theater. We know he can shred. We know he can do amazing solos. We know he's a tone craftsman. We know he's a really good writer. He writes good lyrics. He can do all this stuff. But this is stuff he didn't see at the John Petrucci Guitar Universe. Like when somebody just threw him, one student or patron, or whoever, patron camper asked if he could do this soloing technique he was showing off, how to use modes over a different kind of chord progression. And Petrucci, without even like batting an eye, just nailed it out of the park. And it wasn't something easy like, hey, let's do a 2-5-1 in D, and then we'll go up to E. No. It was like something crazy, like C sharp minor 11, sharp 13, going to an A flat major 7, then going to A 13 with a flat 9 somewhere, and he didn't even like drop a beat. Like he was like, got it, next. Like he can do so much more on the guitar than a lot of people see. It's his level.
Yeah, that's probably true.
He got a lot more terrifying after that. After seeing that, like what he can, like the stuff you don't see him do a whole lot. I was like, oh my, maybe knock you down a level. Also, like in terms of influence, his amps, his gear, his pedals, his picks, everybody's using them. There's a reason. They're really, really, really good. It's like
only thing I want to move him down to great, and the reason is is I don't think he has as much influence as some of the other people on the God level. He does have, like I said, I think as far as progressive metal goes, he's easily one of the most influential progressive metal guitarists. Even if he said progressive rock guitarist, he's probably one of the most influential. But I think rock in general, I don't know. Like I guess I've heard people that play like Petrucci, but I don't think there's as many as some of the other people on the list. Where it's just like a revolution. Like after he came out, like everyone switched the way they were playing and changed to something and changed to his way.
I think they started studying more of his methods. Like, I mean,
That's,
okay, in terms of more modern players, they're all using his techniques, like Jason Richardson, Andy James, like all of them. They swear by, even Tosin Abasi, he swears by the Petrucci Rock Guitar Discipline book. Like that influence.
I like that book too. Yeah, that was a good.
Yeah, if you think about like that kind of stuff, like he really, Scenes from a Memory is considered the best progressive rock album concept album of all time. Now, like they think the community of prog rock fans has long since surpassed Dark Side of the Moon in terms of music. So, I mean, I don't know. I gotta keep my gut. For me, God level, great is a high great. Like he'd be like barely under in terms of influence. Just because I think of the modern influences. Like I mean, I just met 800 people that had his guitars. Like they all had multiple Majesties, and they're all like like they don't play like him, but they're trying. They take his techniques that he had, like here's how you can do this picking thing, and here's how I can do this kind of thing, and here's how I do a string skipping thing that I modified from a Steve Morse technique. They take that and make it their own, or they'll learn his practice techniques or how to tone sculpting, stuff like that. And plus, he's the only person to ever have a signature amp from Mesa Boogie. So yeah,
is he?
Yeah, he's the only one. He's wait. He's also the only person to have a signature pedal from TC Electronics. He's got the Dreamscape.
I'll leave him at gray. I wanted to God. I mean, I was gonna move him down to gray, but yeah, if he's the only person that has a signature model from Mesa Boogie, if his signature model is the highest selling, and he's the only person to have a signature pedal from TC Electronics, that's something.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just because of the modern players I've met in the scene, like the influence of what he's done is vast. Like it may not be apparent to he won't be a household name to non-musicians. Like you're not gonna say Jimi Hendrix versus John Petrucci, who's the more well-known. Obviously Hendrix, but when my students, they all go like, this isn't any of my influence. They always come in with like they'll come in new students and they'll have a Sterling like Petrucci model. Or they'll have the lower end Music Man, like a JP6, and they'll be like, "Hey, oh, you got one of these too?" It's like, and then I start to watch it like spread around. People are like, "That's a good guitar. It sounds pretty good for everything." I don't know. That's what I'm seeing it as.
yeah, maybe you're right. So like, I guess so. Like in progressive rock and progressive metal, I think there's no debate. Like he definitely influenced that. Like every progressive metal, even progressive rock band after Dream Theater, the guitarists are doing stuff like Petrucci. So yeah, there's nothing to really say about that. So I guess I'll leave him at God. So if he's like, if he's selling merchandise, if he's the only person to get a Mesa Boogie signature amp, you can't argue with that, really.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna move on to
Jimi Hendrix. Do we really need to argue this?
Oh, this is easy. He's God. You just leave him there.
Yeah, God, leave him on there. I might say the same thing for Van Halen. I'll give a few arguments in case people in the comments are going to want to argue Van Halen. I'm going to say, one, Floyd Rose. Can you argue against that? Like, before him, there weren't Floyd Rose guitars. After him, I think it was like in collaboration with Eddie Van Halen, they came out with the Floyd Rose and all the whammy bar stuff, and now it's on like half of guitars. Number two, the Brown sound. I can't think of any other guitar sound that is named like that. If you say like the Brown sound, it's Eddie Van Halen sound from the first Van Halen album. Two-handed tapping. Before him, even if you say like he didn't invent it, he was the first person to do it on an album, and afterwards everyone learned how to do it. It completely like revolutionized guitar. And he's on I think probably, isn't that the biggest song or second biggest song ever? Play the guitar solo to Beat It. Probably one of the most famous guitar solos ever.
Yeah, definitely. No, Eddie's got to be up there. Like I see, like if you look at like Chuck Berry, Hendrix, and Van Halen, it's like the Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart, or Bach, Mozart, and Beethoven. Like
yeah, because like those are like, if you really think about like eras, like after Chuck Berry, it's like almost all rock guitarists played like Chuck Berry until a certain point. At a certain point in the 60s, they started changing and they started doing more like blues leads and things. But like for a long time, all rock guitarists were playing pretty much like Chuck Berry. And then like, okay, do more like bluesy stuff, add a little bit of distortion. And then Hendrix came. And then after Hendrix, all guitarists started playing like Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, everybody.
And that continued all through the 70s until Van Halen came. And then after Van Halen, everyone started playing like Van Halen.
Yeah, a lot of my older students have told me some funny stuff. What they've said to me has been, before Eddie Van Halen, I could just get away with the pentatonic solo on a blues scale.
Yeah.
I was a 1 and 3 player. They used the first and third finger for everything. They go, after that, I had to start using double hands and learning all kinds of technique. He's like, man, it's just too much. I was like, okay, but
making you work.
Yeah, Eddie definitely, he's got to stay up there. Definitely the God level. Yeah, he's unparalleled because he influenced the entire 80s, like another decade, like, you know.
Yeah, so yeah, I had to leave him there. Like, I don't know. I don't think he really needs an argument either, but I just thought I'd give one for people out there in case they want to argue.
Yeah, because one person, he sucks, he doesn't.
Yeah, yeah.
He's also, he did drop D tuning too. He was the first guy to.
Oh, really? You might be right.
First guy to kind of make that a standard, but unchained. And he's actually dropped his. He was on drop C sharp actually. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But, all right, so we got David Gilmour.
Yeah, I was gonna say another thing about him was he influenced amps a lot also.
Yeah, he did.
Like, before that, he had like the Plexi, and he like juiced it up to get that brown sound. And then after that, like all those companies, like I think the only company that did that before was Mesa Boogie. They had it before where you could like kind of turn the gain up. But after him, like Bogner, Soldano, and a bunch of the other companies came out with those high gain amps.
Yeah, he was using the attenuator, I think what it was. You know, he cranked the Marshalls even hotter than they should have been.
Yeah.
A couple amps as well.
With the Variax or whatever, yeah, turn it up like run it too hot, yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, but yeah, that is true. The phaser pedal too. You know,
phaser, and even if you think like heavy metal, like one of the most popular amps in heavy metal is his amp, the 5150.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And his, the thing is, it's interesting about his guitars because I remember he started with obviously he made his own, but then when he got signed by Ernie Ball, they made the Music Man for him. And then he left and took that design and modified it, made the Wolfgang with Peavey, which was selling like crazy for a while. I mean, everybody had to get a Wolfgang. I had to get a Wolfgang guitar. And then they made the 5150, and everyone's like, holy crap, Peavey made a killer amp. You know, because at that time, Peavey wasn't really known for making, you know, the best stuff.
Yeah.
Like to say quality stuff. And then since then, like now he's got the EVH brand. It's interesting because I do have some students that love Eddie Van Halen, but the older generation, they will get the Frankenstein replica. The younger generation is gravitated more towards the Wolfgang guitars.
Really?
Yeah, because they like the idea of having the double humbuckers and then like different sounds.
That's true.
And the drop D tuna, as they call it.
Yeah, I actually like that. Did he come up with that?
That was his idea that he pitched supposedly to Floyd Rose, and then they approved it, and it's his. That's his.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And now he owns. I mean, his guitars are made through Fender, but it's all his. It's all EVH. So it's like EVH pots, EVH straps, his pickups, his pedals. He's got his signature pedals too, which I like his signature pedals because it's like, well, do you want the Unchained sound? Well, here's a really cool flanger. This is what he used to use. But if you just want his sound, press the button, like, and you get the Unchained.
Yeah, it's like just like rate. You want a little bit faster, a little bit slower? Just turn it on, turn it off.
Yeah, I mean, all he did for his P90 sound, his Phase 90 was he just kept it at 9 o'clock. That's all he did. Kept it on the entire time. But then as he got to more modern versions of it, he had a different script sound. So on his pedal, it has the script sound. It's like, oh, okay. And actually, that was the first pedal that wasn't a boutique pedal that came with a bright blue LED, which everyone had been asking for a very long time. And everyone's like, why do you want a bright blue LED? It's like, so we can see it on stage. Yeah. And now everybody comes with a bright blue LED. Like, nobody wants the red one. They're all like, give me the blue one.
Yeah, I didn't know that the first one was blue. Yeah, that's actually smart.
Yeah, no, I mean, Eddie. There's no. I mean, we could talk about him forever because, once again, he also had like. The thing I wish he would do, and I know it's never going to happen for me, I would love to see a David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar co-headlining tour, and do
if you do
the best of everything. Call it the best of both worlds. You have it, bam, set. Make your ridiculous mountains of money. You have to rent out another 15 semis to carry it home with you. You know.
Yeah.
but that's probably not going to happen at this point.
I don't think so either. You know, it'd be really cool if they did like a Sammy Hagar band, like opening David Lee Roth band with like Steve Vai next, and then do Van Halen with alternating songs between Hagar and David Lee Roth.
That could be cool. I don't know if Vi would do that because he's at the level now where he's doing his own thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I think he'd probably do it if it was like a short tour where it's like 10 dates or 20 dates.
I'm trying to think of like scheduling wise because like
it'd be hard. Like, also get like Billy Sheehan also. So like
Billy Sheehan's playing with Sons of Apollo and Mike Portnoy, and then meanwhile Sammy Hagar has Michael Anthony with his band he's been going out with, and then you got Steve Vai has he's got the Generation X, and he was also doing Experience Hendrix, and that'd be tricky. That'd be cool to see. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, cool. I like to, even if they just did it like once or twice, it'd be cool if they. I don't know when like the anniversary of Van Halen is, but if it comes up one time to just do one show like that would be good. It'd be interesting.
Are you gonna sing Just the Gigolo? Just the
Gigolo.
Yeah, I ain't got nobody. Okay.
Okay, let's get this last one. Last one is David Gilmour.
So this is hard because he's obviously very high on my list because I love his playing style, and he's got arguably some of the best solos ever. Like period. Like everybody knows the solo to Comfortably Numb. You can sing his solos. They put on an amazing show. Obviously, Dark Side of the Moon is a huge, humongous album that transcends all genres and age groups, generations, decades. It's
been popular.
Here we go. How many of these other guys' albums can we throw onto Wizard of Oz and go on? I don't know. You know what? Maybe put on Our Experience and cue up Purple Haze when Dorothy hits the gold. Purple Haze when she hits the Oompa Loompas. See what happens. I don't know.
I
personally,
I don't dislike him, but like I'm not like a huge fan. I don't know if he should beat up there with God.
No, I'd probably have to say he minimum A level, but also great. Because when I look at the guys that we have in B and all that stuff, like he's way more influential than Dick Dale or Ritchie Blackmore or Santana, like by far. Like there are so many people that I've talked to that still learn "Wish You Were Here" and sing it and play it at parties and stuff. I mean, we heard it. We were in college. Someone would be busting out an acoustic guitar trying to play and sing it to impress a girl.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I'd say minimum A, but I'd move him down to great.
I'd move him to A, and like although I think as a band they're very popular. But him by himself, he has very good solos. I like them, very melodic, one of the most melodic guitarists. But I just think like, what like signature guitar does he have, or like how many clones does he have, or other things? So like I guess like you'd say like I've heard people say like, oh, I want his tone, I want to get like a high watt amp, but I've never met anyone in real life that bought a high watt amp because of David Gilmour.
In terms of clones, there's a bunch. They're just not as well known as him because they sound like him. That's the problem. It's like Kenny Wayne Shepherd, right? Why did he not get as big as Stevie Ray Vaughan? Because we already got Stevie Ray Vaughan.
That's true.
I'd say this. Well, in terms of his sound, you can definitely hear it like on the Police and other bands because of that single coil Strat sound. He has a little bit of chorus and reverb, and then he boosts it up with I see it like in terms of like that of the guitar playing that he pushed people with. Like obviously he does vibrato with his. He was the first artist I know of that used EMG single coils. That was like,
true.
I mean, that did kind of push those into the market. I'd say A. I'm fine with A. He is. I don't know. He's obviously pretty influential. Like when Pink Floyd. I mean, God, that album dropped. That changed everything. With I mean, Dark Side of the Moon has some crazy solos on it too. But I think of Comfortably Numb as his like magnum opus of a solo because everybody knows that thing.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's good. But I want to keep him at A because like if you look at A, we have like Jimmy Page, Angus Young, Brian May, and now like David Gilmour. Where I was like, I think like if you said David Gilmour and like Jimmy Page, who are like equally who's more influential, I'd be like, they're probably about like the same.
Yeah.
There's probably more people who were copying Jimmy Page, maybe at his time, but now I'd say like, oh, there might be more people who like David Gilmour. But I'd say neither of them really like revolutionized things to where like after they came out, everyone switched their playing. There's like, oh, like people liked it and like, oh, maybe like has a nice delay or like, oh, that's a kind of cool guitar. I might buy a guitar like that. But I don't think it wasn't like Van Halen where it's like way you're playing pentatonics, like you can't play like that anymore. You got to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Jimi Hendrix, like, oh yeah, after you heard that, it's like, yeah, you need to buy a fuzz pedal, a wah pedal, and and change what you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a fair point. Yeah, I think it also depends on the age too, the generation.
Yeah.
Like for me personally, I put them higher, but I agree with that's probably where it should be with most people. They probably, I hate to say it, most people they don't even know who Pink Floyd, the band members are. They're just like, that's that album with the rainbows. I'm like, oh yeah, guys. Yeah, I think it's about right.
Yeah, it seems good. Let me get off of this screen share here. So for people, this is the final list. I'll try to put it as like the thumbnail here so you can see it afterwards. Stop. My face coming back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, but I think the overall list was pretty good. I feel somewhat confident in it. I think that's a good list. If you think you can do better, you do one.
Yeah, we're gonna get lots of hate coming at us. Like like I know it's coming because of the more controversial choices, but I think it's based off of honestly a lot of generational stuff.
That's true because I imagine if I was born in like the 1940s or something, and I grew up listening to surf music, and maybe Dick Dale would be higher or something. So
yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong. We're not. Yeah, but people gotta remember this list is not us saying who's better technically, or we're just saying influence. Like that's what we're thinking of.
Yeah, to be honest, it's not even like the ones I like. I like Steve Vai much more than I do Chuck Berry, but like you got to give credit where credit's due. If someone invents, it's about influential rock guitarists. If you invent rock music, you kind of have to be up there.
Yeah, we should have put Hulk Hogan on the list as a wild card. Because let's be honest, his opening riff, he played guitar in that one video, and he's a competent bass player. But when that music hits, to this day, kids and people are trained to rip their shirts off and start screaming about Vitamins Brother. He based on that, he's one of the most influential guitar players of the 80s as well.
Yeah, probably true.
Right now, your viewers are going, I hate this guy. You're going to block him immediately. I'm pretty confident in that list. That's for what it is. That's good there, too.
Yeah, so I think that's good. Like in the future, maybe we'll do other ones like I don't know, most technical guitarist or most soulful rock guitarist. We could do fusion guitarist, metal guitarist. I don't know. Let me know down below like what other types of lists or rankings you'd like to see, because I have no idea. We can also do bands too. We don't have to do just guitars.
I think if we do something like as crazy as most technical guitarists, we should probably limit it to a certain timeline. Like
that's true.
Otherwise, we're gonna have a hate train of people. Most technical guitarists of the 80s. Now, there's a lot of great players. So then we can or say. Just vote for your favorite. Like that way you can throw in people like Kiko Loren, or you can put in Rob Beach from he was good, but no one But then it was Eddie Van Halen. You got Vi, you got all those in there as well, or good best blues players from let's say 1950 to 1960. Because once we throw in Hendrix, they all kind of get wiped out. We can't just he'll be the top of everything. So
actually that'd be interesting because it would be interesting like the most technical guitarist of like the 70s. Yeah, like the 60s and like the 80s, but like in the 70s there's lots of like technical guitarists that people kind of don't mention, because there's people like John McLaughlin, who's actually very fast and very technical for his time. Al Di Meola, Eddie Van Halen came around in the 70s. Alan Holdsworth's from the 70s. You can do a lot.
Yeah, you probably got to throw in Alex Lifeson or Rush or Greg Howe of Yes. I mean, they're doing some crazy stuff.
That's true.
Well, I mean,
Steve Howe. Steve Howe.
So you're wrong. Well, there's too many Hows.
Yeah.
Steve Howe was born sometime there. Wait, you have to technically throw in Ace Frehley of Kiss. Now, hold on. He's the first guy to technically make his guitar smoke with a smoke bomb and get to work without blowing up. So technically, that's some high-end tech. So maybe Ace Frehley has to go in there. And he was the first guitar player I know of to wear makeup and boots I mean, that's technically. See, we're already getting into trouble now.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one. You got a reviewer. Serious Z says, "How about the most underrated guitarist?" Now that would be a good
That's
list.
a good one.
I would say divide that into two genres. I would say modern underrated, and then maybe like
Classic.
before a certain date.
Before when? Sorry, say it again.
A certain date. Like, let's say, like, I don't know, pick a decade, and then say, oh, well, we can just say underrated guitarist. That'd be the same thing too.
Yeah, that'd probably be good. Yeah, I kind of want to limit it, but yeah, I think you're like limited to a certain time. I think.
How about this? How about we put on least depressing songs of the '90s, and then we can. And then good luck with that one. Everything is gonna be down at the bottom, like.
That's true. Yeah.
Chumbawamba number one.
Yeah.
I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred. That's the only.
I forgot all about that song.
What's that band? The Proclaimers, the 500 Miles song.
I would walk 500.
Technically, they're a very influential guitar player because the only duo in history that were identical twins to get a #1 hit, and they would quit right after. They took all that money. They owned all the rights to that song. That song was licensed to Benny and June for $600. That's what I was like, yeah, I was looking at the other, that can't be true. I have yet to find something to dispute that, but supposedly it was their song. They owned all the rights. They recorded it. Benny and June's like sound department was like, we need something for the soundtrack. And they were like, let's use these guys. They're from Scotland. They're identical twins. They're goofy looking. And they got this catchy song. And then it exploded. And they just took in all that money. That was all theirs. Like,
that's nice.
I mean, besides obviously the licensing fee, but like they just made bank on it and they quit because they said, how can we top this? And I was like, you're right. You can't. Just tap out. I mean, they or you can pick, another thing you can do is you can pick out a band, an album. I think it'd be fun to pick out a band that's well known, and then we'll decide which one of their best albums or maybe most influential albums, because that can get pretty crazy at the same time.
Yeah, I think those are all good ideas. Like we could do all of those. So, I don't know. So let us know down below, and if lots of people have a preference for one, like you want to see the most like influential guitarist before like 1980, or most technical guitarist before 1980, or most underrated guitarist after 1985 or whatever, or like best album by like Jimi Hendrix or Dream Theater, whatever. Let us know. So hey, how are you doing on time? You okay?
I'm doing fine, right? You're so good. I'm just checking on other stuff. Computer was acting up. As trying to see the questions, it's not like there's a bit of a delay in the chat for me because I'm watching the stream as well. But people are asking questions. Buster, he just left. He said, "Thanks for the list. See ya. Good list. See you guys." He was Gilmore boosted the sales of LSD.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Gilmore had a tuxedo Strat. If you're a Strat player, you'd know that. Yeah, okay.
I'm not really a Strat player. Sorry, man.
I mean, he had the black Strat. I know that one. Let's see. He's talking about his influence because he went to Berkeley in the '70s, and he was saying when he graduated in Berkeley in '81, Hendrix, except for Hendrix and Chuck, tough choices. Yeah, so basically different people. Obviously, it was a different time.
Yeah.
So the people didn't exist then. That's the different people. Yeah, I mean, it's a list we're just shooting. And luckily, no hate, not that much hate.
That's good. I'm actually happy.
PV equals country western and dad's band equipment. That's
Dad band equipment.
Yeah. I've seen them like they come up on stage with the old PV. And they're like, this is awesome. And you're like, the dad band equipment. That's pretty funny. Wait, you don't have any PV, do you, Chandler?
No, I actually don't.
Okay, you are a father, so I was thinking, wait a minute.
I actually could, but yeah, actually don't.
I need to get you a nice Christmas gift, a whole PV trans tube from '96 that has the worst tone ever. You can, I'll ship it to Japan, and they'll be like,
I remember trans tubes. Those are so bad.
Yeah, I got conned into buying one. The music store guy said it's only $400 for the head and the 4x12 speaker. And I went, wow, that seems like a great deal. And then I went home and went, no, this is the worst sound.
No.
It didn't sound good with anything. So then they suggested buying a Digitech pedal to run through it, which was I had a Digitech RP20 going into it's not a good tone start. And I'm like, and then they go, maybe if you get some EMGs, it'll give you a cleaner, warmer sound. Oh, that makes sense. Here's an EMG 81. Yeah, no, all this, you can see the mistakes. And they're
Yeah,
like, try
just piling up. So just
wait. You forgot the crucial step. Let's add the metal zone to that.
what?
Yeah, and then you're gonna be wondering, how did he get into Berkeley with all this crap?
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, start with a tin can, then let's put some bees inside, then let's put some like loose wires in there.
And then a metal zone, which is his own level of crap. And then no, it was obviously I switched over to Mesa. Once I went to Mesa, I never went back. That was quite an investment, but at the time a music store was closing down, and they were like, "Hey, we got a Simulclass 290 brand new and a Mesa Boogie Triaxis." And I'm like, "Oh." I was like, "Well, what are you selling them for?" They go, "We need money because we're bankrupt, so we'll give them to you for cost." So I got my Simulclass 290 brand new for $800. The Mesa Triaxis was used, and I got that for $950.
That's
and they were
good.
So I had the whole setup, and then I had to go buy. That's why I came to Berkeley. They weren't in any kind of like rack unit. I had them in boxes still. And then I made the mistake of we were living in the dorms. I made the mistake of going to Guitar Center, and they said, "Hey, do you want to buy the 4x12?" I said, "That's too big. I'll get the 2x12. That way I can carry it on the subway." Not knowing the 2x12 didn't have any wheels, so then I had to walk 8 or 9 blocks with a Mesa Boogie 2x12 that weighs 8 pounds. Yeah, it's the same thing we did with my mattress. So I've learned.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but Mesa, if you don't know this, but Mesa cabinets right now, a 4x12 is $1,200.
Really?
Yeah, they're outrageous. Same with Marshall cabinets too. They're really, really expensive.
Why do they get so expensive? Like, I can't understand. It's like saying like they use like Celestion speakers, right?
Mesa's or Marshalls do. Mesa's use their own version. They have a I think it's called a V30. I'm not sure what. I have something different. I have a Recto 30 in mine, so it's a certain kind of speaker sound for the rectifier.
Really?
And they make different cab sizes. Like they used to make. I have an oversized cab. So
oversized. Yeah.
Well, they don't make those.
Sound right.
They have traditional, which is like the ones Petrucci uses, very tight, like normal cab sign. And then they have the standard, which is slightly bigger. Mine is actually bigger than that, which is probably why I got it so cheap, is because the oversized is stupidly big. But I have, it's almost too big, but I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy another one. And I have an even rare, my oversized does this. So if this is the inside of the cabinet, right, like that, my 2 speakers point up like that. But then the bottom 2 are going straight.
Oh,
so
right?
I have a regular top on it to put stuff on top. So and they made that of like so the idea that I had behind it was like when I got it was the 212 is great for cleans, great for highs and mids. The oversized one though is booming in bass and low mids. So when I combine the 2 in a stereo, I have a nice blend. So I can.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
But it probably should have been better with just 2 of the same amps. But speaker.
How often do you get to play with that though? Like a 4x12 and a 2x12?
Never. Haven't turned it on in a year. It tends to piss off everybody in hearing distance. It's very, very loud. But when I used to play on it, it sounded awesome. Now these days, because if I play for theater shows or anywhere, I used to take those to the theater show. I have used the Mesa Boogie 412, and then when my Mesa Boogie, when the Triaxis went down big time for repair, the Simulclass went down for repair, I was up Schitt's Creek because Mesa told me it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks to fix this and get it back to you, because they had to meticulously go through the board and check all the caps, and something was going wrong where the bass, regardless, was not listening to any commands. It was just on max. So they had to find out on the board what went wrong, and I'm getting in line with other people's repairs, and they fixed it meticulously. Mesa's customer support is totally amazing. They fixed it, and the thing is, the guy who fixed it was the guy who built it. And I'm like,
that's cool.
Yeah, he like called me up and he's like, yeah, I'm the guy who literally built the thing, like, in 2001. I was like, oh, well, hi. And then, so I had to buy the Mark V. So for a while, I was using the Mesa Boogie Mark V because I need more versatility than other amps. But now it's straight Axe-Fx. I show up with the Axe-Fx. I plug in. They run some XLR cables or just some standard, 1/4 inch out to the front the board. We EQ it, and I have a monitor, and that's it. They just want, and no one can tell the difference. So bring the Mesa. When I have an orchestra next to me and there's like 100 people, I can't really crank the 4x12. If I go play a gig somewhere at a bar, I'm bringing the Mesas. I'm bringing the speakers.
Yeah, exactly. I bring the oversized. Like now, I'm the orchestra.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which the last thing I played, I had. It looked hilarious because I hadn't gotten the I hadn't had the time to send the money at the time to send the 290 out to get fixed. So instead I bought the Mark V. So I had my G major, my TC Electronics G major,
Yeah.
my triaxis, and my simulclass on stage, but they weren't doing anything. They just looked cool. And then I had the Mark V on top of that, which because I had the G major in there, it was still in the rack. That was turned on to give the effects kit to the Mark V, and then the Mark V was going stereo out to 2 different speakers, which were in an X pattern. So all those people were like, "How many amps does he have turned on?" And I'm like, "Just one, but it looks cool." Like,
yeah, have more
lights and stuff. People are like, "Wow!" And I saw guys like writing down my settings like for the tri-axis, and I'm like, "It's not even turned on." Like, what are you looking at? Like, what are you looking at there? Like, oh, it's just good sound. I'm like, okay. But then again, like, you know, the sound I got when I played on those videos at the cell phone ones, everyone was like, I've had a lot of questions about like what amp we're using, what we're playing through that, and oh, hold on. Hello, Aurora Guitar Music. Greetings from Barcelona. Hey, welcome.
Oh.
Yeah, that thing was the Boss Katana Artist, which that amp sounds incredible. It really does.
Yeah, I tried one once in a store, and I was like, I actually like this. The problem with me is like I just don't need it. Like behind me, I have like a cheap Bulgara tube amp, which is pretty nice, and I have a Fender Twin next to me, which I've never played through. Somebody gave it to me for free, and it's broken.
The big, huge, heavy juggernaut.
Yeah, like I was like, I want to get this fixed, but I was like, when am I going to use it? Probably never. I don't know what I would even use it for. It's ridiculously loud and it's heavy. So I was like, it's not even the cost of fixing it. It's more like I don't want to take it to the shop. I don't want to move it.
Yeah, I actually have to retube my Mark V, and it's going to cost about $400, and I don't really want to do it. Well, that's the price of a tube amp is when you get them. But then it's fine for me for 2 to 3 years, because if I was playing regularly, it'd last me maybe a year and a half, 2 years. But at the same time, those things have been like they've been so reliable. But now it's just the Axe-Fx. I've actually taken the Axe-Fx and I've used it just as an effects unit through both those amps to see what it would sound like. It sounds awesome. But at the same time, it's like as I'm getting older, I just want to take the Axe-Fx. I just want to get the one thing and go. Most of my contemporaries around here just use the AX8. They have the AX8, and they're looking to get the new one, the smaller one.
Was it FM3? Yeah.
FM something.
Yeah. Good. It's like every year, it's like things are just getting better and smaller and easier, and they sound better and they're more convenient. They have effects in them, and it's like. I like playing a tube amp. I understand, like, when you play it, it's like a little bit different, like, you get more feel and everything, but it's like, is it worth it?
Well, the one thing I've noticed is this is just from what I've seen. The Axe-Fx is an incredible piece of gear. Doesn't quite fill the room the same as a Mesa. And I have a harder time trying to dial in those Mesa aggressive, tight, crunchy rhythm tones. The amp, I'm just like, tweak, 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 bam, there we go.
Is it the same even if you're using like the simulcast as a power amp and using like the Mesa speakers, like I have a guitar cab?
You can match it pretty much spot on. No one will tell the difference. But for the Axe, I haven't done the 3 yet, so I don't know about the 3. I'm on the 2 XL Plus. Okay. It's very, very close. There's slight differences, but you have to think, this is how somebody sampled it. Now you can tone match it and get it. I mean, almost identical, but. Yeah. But what if I want to change immediately? Then I have to for the amps, I can just grab the knobs and change them real quick and move things around. It's a little more detailed on the Axe-Fx. It depends. The tri-axis sound they have nailed. It sounds just like the tri-axis. I'd say with the Mark V, it's pretty close for most of the sounds. But the Mark V also is like it's a all-in-one amp. It's kind of like super clean. Then it has the Mark II. Then it has like a dirty British channel. Then it has the Mark II C+, the Mark IV, and then its own sound. So it's like crap. And then you got the different wattages. You have 10 watt, 45 watt, 90 watt. And then do I want to run as a variac mode, which is like or do I want it full power? So it's like, I have all these different options. And there's a solo boost as well. So you're like, geez, it depends.
It does everything. That's like one of those things like, is there really a reason to model that? Because like the Mark V itself has so many sounds. It's like, okay, here's like a Fenderish sound. Here's like a classic Mark II sound. I was like, do you really need the Mark II mode in the Mark V when you have a Mark II mode in the Axe-Fx?
No, it's mostly they'll just get like the ones that are specific to the amp. Or some people try to get the they don't sound exactly the same as a Mark IV or a Mark II C++, but they have their own unique character, which isn't bad at all. But then like they just put in the JP2C, which everyone's going nuts for because it's like his crunch rhythm sound. They don't sample every feature of the amp usually. Sometimes they do. Like the plexi heads, they have like the gain, the jump boost with the cables, the
That's
mid
cool.
boost. Yeah, it depends on what the people want, but it's just, I mean, they're really really good at doing that. But for me, I've noticed that the live amp is still just something you lose the thump. Like that's what you lose. It's like when I have those cabinets on stage and there's people in the audience, I'll blow your head off, and they're gonna go ooh. Like
Yeah, you can feel like the like the
yeah,
sound hitting you. Even
versus when
like a small room, like if you have like an amp and you turn it up, you can feel like the sound coming off the walls. It fills the room up. So that's better.
I did see, I have to say, last week I was leaving work and I heard a band playing and I went, that is the most controlled sound I've ever heard from a drummer. He must be either like a jazz player or amazing control. No, he's playing on a Roland V drum set. And then wait. Nobody had amps on stage. It was all AX8s and then a Roland V set. So the only person who was technically live on stage was the vocalist. It was like, it literally was like there's people talking over the band because the PA they brought wasn't loud enough to like take over the whole room.
Oh, that's kind of bad. Like, one is bad, but like on the other hand, that might be good in the future just because it might allow more like bars and clubs to have live music, which would be good.
The drums sounded horrible. I mean, it sounded so thin and weak. It was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, the cymbals are processed versus a real cymbal being hit and then it's spreading around the room. And it was, I missed the oomph of it. I was like, I mean, they were decent. I get they're probably just a cover band, just doing it for fun, make some extra bucks here and there. But I was like, oh, come on, guys, get a real drum set. Like, or maybe they're just lazy. They're just like, our backs hurt. We just want to bring in there it is, ding ding ding, we're done.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what the situation is in America. I know in Japan they're a little bit strict about like noise, so it's hard to do something with a real drum kit.
It depends over here on the venue and where you're at and the style, and if you brought in money. That's the big thing.
Yeah, so yeah, you bring enough money, they don't care. Just do whatever.
You bring in 400 people, they don't care what you're playing. All right, yeah. Like, you can play the crappiest music known in the world, they don't care. You get consistently 400 people paying door. Yeah, come on in every week. Yay!
Yeah,
if you play the most amazing music ever, you got 5 people watching. They're probably not gonna. It's a draw. I mean, obviously, you play music, people are gonna show up, but it just depends on the clubs and the different. I mean, there's not that many places to play around here anymore. Around where I'm at, not a whole lot. Actually, I have to leave the state and go to different states, and then they're all about it. They only want original bands.
Oh, really?
Well, luckily, I'm on a spot where if it's 20 minutes south or 20 minutes west, I'm out of the state. So it's not that big. Yeah, that's not that big a deal. But yeah, it's just different. Like, I mean, mostly what I play with now, when I'm going out to like my fly rig is my main source of like tone. It's like back to the cell phone video I was talking about. I used the Boss Katana. It was just a clean sound, and I had that JHS ATI pedal.
Yeah.
And that Andy Timmons signature pedal.
Yeah.
It's basically a Marshall in a box, and it can get enough for any of the sounds I want. And then I have a Keeley Red Dirt as a boost that I'm only using for a volume boost to push it even harder. And I have nothing else besides my flashback delay. That's all I use. And a tuner, of course. But I mean, that's no big deal. And then I have sometimes I bring up my wah pedal, but that was it. I was like, how'd you get those tones? I'm like, that's this pedal, man. That's the JHS pedal.
Yeah, I think I could live with that. I mean, if I just had like one really good overdrive pedal and a delay, maybe it's enough. I always want the other things, but it was like the other effects I don't use that often. So it's like those I need though. I need a good, overdrive.
Yeah, or something. I would like a chorus pedal, some kind of modulation. I prefer to. Or I probably would get honestly a compressor, just for the cleans, just like a little more, just a little, just every once in a while.
Yeah.
But I don't really need much else on there. I would like a modulation pedal, so maybe like a nice reverb pedal, but like the modulation ones, like I'm thinking of is I really like the
chorus, like the Dimension chorus, or like the TC Electronics. I like that one.
I tried a pedal that I didn't think I would like. It's the Boss just released the Dimension C pedal again, the one with the 4 buttons.
Yeah, I saw that. I like the sound of that. I thought that's
the reason they made. So the first one, everyone you push down multiple buttons and hot rod it.
Yeah.
Well, they now made that a feature because TC Electronics put out a pedal for like $40 called Dimension C, and it sounds way better. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Boss is like, "Hey, we got one too, Wazacraft.
Yeah,
$160." I'm like, "Wait, no, I'm good."
Yeah.
Those just sound good. Delay. I like to have chorus only on clean, for certain things.
I don't like it on distortion. It sounds too much like the 1980s. It sounds like 1980s Paul Gilbert. I don't like that.
I don't mind it for certain solos. Like if it's on a solo to cut through the mix. Like some of my favorite solos have a little bit of chorus on them. Not like overwhelming chorus, but like It depends on the artist too. Like
I might prefer it on clean sound though. Like a nice clean sound, it's good.
Yeah, a clean chorus with reverb and a little bit of compression for me. And I'm like, all right, maybe split coil sounds nice. Anything else, like I mean, it depends. Like if I'm on a single coil Strat, I don't want chorus anywhere near that. I want to hear phaser for Hendrix. That's a little bit of overdrive. Or I'll take a fuzz pedal and I'll crank the volume and I'll turn the tone all the way down.
The muted sound.
Yeah, exactly. You get the, or if you want the Eric Johnson sound, take the fuzz pedal, put it on the bridge pickup, which will be the single coil, and then you have to just roll your tone down.
Is that what he does?
Yeah, he's playing through a bridge. That's his bridge sound, which is even scarier. You're like, you're that damn warm through the bridge? He's like, yep. I asked him that once. He said he uses the neck mostly just for clean tones. That's about it. I'm like, that's or the Steve Ray Vaughan song is SRV song. But it's you see the stuff they're actually doing. Like, plus his fingertips are a big thing of it too. Yeah. Johnson, we just go out and all do this. Like, here we go. We got the secret formula, everybody.
Now I can play exactly like him. No problem.
It's sweet. Awesome. Thanks, Eric. Just buy a guitar and get this, and we're good to go. So I'll make some money. Anyway. All right. Well,
I can't see the chat.
What is it? Let me see real quick. Nope, nothing yet. No one's here. No one's watching us. We have. Okay, well, they're all gone. Later. They probably quit care once we started talking about gear. Like, we're out of here.
Exactly. I'm here for the guitar.
Don't you guys want to learn about stuff? Here, buy yourself some pair of Shure headphones. They're good. Those are my mixing headphones.
Was it Audio Technica's here?
Yeah. They didn't have those at Guitar Center when I went, so I had to get these. What are these? The Shure. I can't even read what that says. Hold on, let me click my video so I can pick it. What are they? The Shure
something. I can't even read it.
SRH 840. Yeah, I like them. They're nice. Yeah. Expensive, but I didn't have a choice because they were like, "Well, we've got Beats," and I was like, "No, not
no."
And we've got headphones. Oh yeah, and they said, and we've got one pair of this Shure that's expensive, but they were like, "This is all we have right now. We have to wait. We just sold out everything." I'm like, "Great!" So I came after the sale, and yeah, Beats. So I got the Beats, and that was a mistake. They did give me this though, the world's most useless tripod. You see how little this is?
Oh, I actually had one of those. I was going to use it for like my phone or something, and when I put my phone in there, the whole thing fell over.
Yeah, here's the iPhone. Like, you can see how small this is. I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? Like, we could, like, set up something, but the screw on top, you're probably gonna be able to see that it's way too little, so it can't capture anything. So I'm like, this is
what are you gonna screw into that?
Nothing. Maybe a webcam. I don't know. I haven't tried. It came with that though, and I was like, great. Is that to hold the headphones? Anyway, stupid stuff. All right. Well, this is a fun chat. I do have to go in here.
So, like I said before, if you want us to do another ranking like this, leave us a message down below. Give us a thumbs up. Leave us any comments down there. And we'll do one of these again in the future. Hopefully in the future, we'll do one on Daniel's channel here. So,
yes, good. Cool. All right, man. Always fun talking to you. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, talk to you later.
Right.
Bye.